So hi, I came to Dr. Fatih in order to, to get the surgery for my breasts because I always had and that always was something that was on my mind. And I was telling to my doctor just earlier that I come from a family of 5 girls, and I was the only one who was actually sort of suffering that condition of having very almost no breasts. And so I went on with my life, and I had also 2 daughters. So I had 2 daughters. And during those pregnancy periods, both times, I really saw what my body can become, like what shape it can take when you have breasts. It's funny, but what happens then is that as someone who doesn't have breasts, when you're pregnant, when you're breastfeeding, basically you get to the biggest shape of the breast that you can get. What I thought in both times, I thought that was my normal self. That was exactly what I was like always. So because it's so easy to accept, because it's so much more beautiful, it fits your body, it makes everything look much better on you. So I think those 2 pregnancy periods kind of helped me to make a decision. I knew that sometime soon, maybe in a couple of years, I feel ready to act on this, probably find a real professional and then go and get. That's why I'm here. But making a decision is only part of it. You make a decision once you know that you want to do, then of course starts the, I think, more important part, because then you have where this would happen, like what the doctor you would go to. And for that, obviously Google is your friend. You Google everything, you try to understand everything. And then in my case, so I went through certain names of the doctors that I either heard about from other people or maybe I read about on the internet. And so what happened is that once I came across with Dr. Fatih's profile, then what I was after is to maybe potentially find someone who's done this with him so that I could see this kind of like in real life. And there I got lucky because my sister works in a beauty salon, and her boss had actually been one of the patients of Dr. Fatih's, and that was basically the one opportunity that I was looking for. So I went and I talked to this woman, and she said, you know what, if you have made the decision, this is the right to go to, and that's the right place to be. So and I, of course, she was kind enough to show me the result of her own. And when I saw it, I had a couple more questions to her because I wanted to know, how much of an effort it is afterwards, like when you get the surgery, how painful it is, how easy to get back to your normal. I have 2 daughters, so I have to be able to still mom, and I work full-time job as well. So that all was very interesting. And in her words, she said, so I had my surgery and the next day I was celebrating a holiday, going from place to place. So that was really not a problem for me. And I usually, I'm well, thanks God, I am a healthy person. So I also had this confidence that if I'm being treated, surgery is done by a professional, it really shouldn't take that much effort afterwards to recover. And that's where I am. Like I said, I've put maybe at least into this, and at the end I am really and genuinely happy that this is where I am. I think what I got today, the surgery that happened today, went really well, and this is about a half hours afterwards. As you can see, I can move, I probably will dance and all if I need to. It's part of it is that I don't feel that much pain, and the other part is that the personnel here is really helpful and thoughtful, and they come and they check on you all the time. And the doctor himself, I think a lot about him before meeting him, but after meeting him, I really know, this is the person who thinks about the aftermath, they want to make sure that when I walk out from here, I go with peace in my mind and happy and satisfied. And that's, I think, what is happening now. So I think I am Turkish by myself, but I live in Sweden, so that's where I live. My close friends in Sweden, they know already about the fact how great the healthcare or health professionals are in, right? And when coming here, I have a couple close friends that I also was, of course, talking to in order to get their opinions. And the more I told about how my doctor is doing what he's doing and showed videos and such, I think even at the stage where I was making my own decision, they were also convinced for themselves that this is really done in a professional way, and the results are outstanding. So I think what I can say to people who have not Turkey, for example, and maybe this is your even first time that you are going to come to Turkey for this, do not hesitate. Make sure that you find a professional, and Dr. Fatih is definitely one of them. So as soon as you make a decision, just get in contact, and I think they will from literally as soon as you get to Turkey up to the point when you're done with the surgery, throughout your recovery process. Yeah, so for me it's of course easier because I already have been to Istanbul. I have been here multiple times. I have some relatives here, so I visit. But Istanbul is worth any other way like this one. So maybe you're having questions like, what happens as soon as you actually come to the hospital. So in my case, what happened is that I got here and then I was accepted, I gave my ID and such, and then the process started. But what I've seen is that the people here, they speak Turkish of course, but they definitely speak also English. And like my neighbor, another patient right next door is also coming from London, and he speaks English, taking care just the same way that I am. There is no limit in the service just because maybe someone is speaking, so that's definitely not worried. People here, the personnel and everyone is so very attentive. And I've been checked on almost, every half an hour. Because the first couple hours after the surgery, I was mostly, of course, laying down and trying to get to recover and such. And I appreciated the fact that I was just being checked on all the time. Just even if I were sleeping, I could feel that people are coming and looking that everything is going well. Yeah, even if you speak English or Swedish, I guess like English is the language that is spoken here the most. But I know for the fact that I've seen this in the videos of Dr. Fatih that people come to him from all over the Europe and US and Russia and all the other countries. So do not hesitate, do not think that it will be any more difficult than it all goes through. So and of course this Dr. Fatih, professional who gets a lot of attention from abroad. And in my case, for example, I flew to Istanbul yesterday night, and then I came to the hospital around 7:30 in the morning today. My schedule is quite packed, so I have to be back Stockholm by Monday because I need to go back to work. Then this means that now I got my surgery, but ideally Dr. Fatih, you can get checked about later, so that next if everything is what needs to be in place is in place. But in my case, that is not going to be an ability because I will have gone back home. So what we will do is that we will do this through video call, right? So we will just basically discuss, and Dr. Fatih will be able to check the progress to the video call. So that is also amazing because my life is here and it will make your life so much easier. You can even do a video call not just afterwards in order to check on the progress, but even beforehand. Say if you have some questions, if you are curious, and if Dr. Fatih has to, because he needs to understand your condition and needs to see how your breasts are, for example, and you probably have some other questions that you want to ask before finally kind of making the decision. So that will also be very possible. And especially after pandemic period, video calls are a new thing right now, right? So, and I'm really happy to see that Dr. Fatih is keeping up with the trends, and he is literally finding all different ways to make sure that you get all the answers beforehand and that you're well taken care of afterwards as well.
Thank you so much for everything.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Really.